Hello, good evening. My name is Richard. No, it isn't Friday. You're not mistaken. It is Wednesday. It is the Arsenal Women's Show. We are doing it a little bit early this week due to TV scheduling of game on Friday. So we're squeezing it in on a Wednesday night for you. I hope that you still managed to join us. Of course, the WSL season has started not in the way we hoped or anticipated it was going to, wasn't it? The game on Sunday, of course, ended in a disappointing defeat to Liverpool. So we're going to look back on that game, look at where it went wrong and where things are going to change and where things have to change ahead of the game on Friday against Manchester United, which we'll look ahead to that as well. So it's going to be an interesting show. It's maybe not as upbeat as we hoped it may have been a week or so ago when we were looking forward to the start of the season. But it is what it is. Football brings you wins, it brings you losses, and it brings you disappointment and great moments as well. So we have to deal with it all. And today we're going to have to deal with this. So we are looking back on the first weekend of the WSL season, looking ahead to weekend number 2. It's all coming up the other side of this. And joining us, of course, is our international man of mystery, Andreas, back from London. I mean, first of all, how was your trip? Was it good?
Yeah, trip was really good, and flights were safe and good and in time, so everything was all right except the result on Sunday.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can plan everything journey-wise and everything can go smoothly, but we can't control what happens on the pitch for 90 minutes, unfortunately. How was your new hotel? Was that as good as the old one, or are you going to go back there, do you think?
No, it's cheaper, and you feel this. It's a cheap budget hotel. Of course, it's located close to Paddington station, so this is good. I'll be there next time for the Villa match again, but then I will return to my home, to my Motel 1 in Tower Hill. Yeah, it was a strange feeling to take the tube to another station and go out to the city and yeah, it didn't feel home. Maybe this was one reason why the Sunday didn't went right.
Maybe it was. I don't know. Yeah, it could be, couldn't it? Maybe it unsettled the team. Maybe knowing that you're in a different hotel, maybe they wasn't happy about that. They couldn't settle into the game. Maybe that's what it was. But now you've been there. Next time they should be used to you being in that hotel for the Villa game. So we should be better in that game, should we? Hopefully, let's hope so. Anyway, I'm glad it was a good trip. Anyway, and if you haven't watched Andreas's vlog from the game on Sunday on the channel, definitely check that out because it really gives you a good idea of the atmosphere there was both before the game at the Tolly, which was great, and then of course obviously in the stadium as well, which it was a good atmosphere, even though the game obviously didn't quite go to plan at all, did it? And we got Russ in the chat. He says, evening everyone, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. And Terry, of course, as always, he says, good evening, Richard and international man and mystery Andreas. Russ says there, Andreas's shirt looks pretty good, to be fair. It looks very good. I do really like that shirt, and it's nice to actually see it actually physically on somebody. I've seen a few pictures of people wearing it, but it's nice. It is a nice shirt. So it's expensive, but that's the way it is these days. If you want the shirt, you have to pay the money for it. That's it, and it's great that it does look good. You're absolutely right. Terry said there, well said, Andreas, blame the hotel. Exactly, yeah. The players do, don't they? When the team have to move hotel and then they lose, they say, oh, it's because we were in a different place. So, yeah, of course, it's a good excuse and we'll take it, won't we? Absolutely. We've got Hadder in the chat there. Good to see you. He says, we need Sabrina to start the game against Man United. We'll talk about that, any team changes and stuff when we get onto that game. But, yeah, you may well be right, actually. I mean, obviously, we have to start at the Liverpool game. There was a lot of anticipation, obviously, before the start of the game. New season, new signings, a massive crowd at the Emirates and all that kind of stuff. So it was a big excitement building. And then the game started and it was a little bit of a letdown. I mean, I thought the first half wasn't too bad, but what did you make of the team lineup? I was a little bit surprised. It was Jem Beattie and Lotte Wubben-Moy as the two centre-backs. And we bought two centre-backs in the summer, new signings, and they were both on the bench. I was a little bit surprised to see both of those two starting. Were you?
Yeah, my first impression was Jen and Lotta together. We know that this doesn't work, so why try it again? Of course, Jen had a good second half of the season last season, and her performance on Sunday was good too. But I don't think that this pair, Lotta and Jen together, works for us as we need it. And why signing Amanda and Laia Codina two players who really were shining at the World Cup and then bench them. I couldn't understand this. And when you see the first half, I think we had 15 corners in the first half. They were crying for Amanda to head one in. And from the bench, she couldn't head a corner in. So this was a strange lineup. And another thing is Noelle was got a knock in the international for Switzerland, and she was not ready to play. She was on the bench, but not ready to play. Okay, so but when this causes so much problems, when Noelle is not available, why didn't we sign a backup for her? Chloe Lacasse is not a right back. She can't play on this position and being right back and right winger. This was also strange. And so I thought there are more problems in the lineup. I think Wally had not her best matches against Paris, and now against Liverpool. But Frida is out of form for weeks now. World Cup, the internationals for Norway, and the Paris match and Liverpool. We have Vicky Pelova. I don't think that Vicky made one weak performance since she signed in January. Why don't start her? There are, I don't want to blame Jonas for everything, and so far I still trust him. But I think some of his decisions were discussable, and in my opinion, not the right decisions he made. And he made the subs too late in the second half. When you see your tactical ideas don't work, then you must react. And we were 0-0 at halftime. So change something at halftime, because you could see that we didn't cause enough problems for the Liverpool defense because we were too slow, not creating ideas. The build-up was too slow, always back again and trying again to build too much over the left wing. Caitlin started very good, but then a lot concentrated on the left wing and corners over corners, and no new idea. Alessia Russo was, she reminded me a bit on Stina in first half of the last season. She worked really hard. She tried everything, but she didn't get any service or deliveries. So then Leslie started to drop deeper to get involved in the match, to regain ball possession or something. Of course, she was in the match then, but you need her in the box. Jonas said he wants her in the box. He wants her to score 10 or 15 goals. If she's not in the box, if she doesn't get any delivery, she can't score. So there are a lot of problems. We started good. We started dominant. I think maybe we had 75% ball possession, but not creating a lot of chances. And of course, Rachel Laws had a fantastic match for Liverpool in goal. If you have a real good goalkeeper, they are winning you matches. And Rachel Laws was the better goalkeeper on Sunday, and she won the match for Liverpool. So these are a few thoughts for me.
No, I mean, you're pretty much spot on with all of that, really. I mean, the only thing I would say in Jonas's defence with the team selection, we don't know the fitness of all the players. And it may well have been that, yes, Amanda, I thought, was our best player against Paris, but there's been an international break. She may have got, I know she was sent off in one of the games, I think, but, she may have come back with a slight injury. Maybe some of the other players who are on the bench, maybe we don't know their fitness, to be fair. So, and maybe the substitutions were made late because they only had so many minutes in them because of their fitness levels. We don't know, do we? I mean, that's maybe trying to stick up for Jonas a little bit. Maybe that wasn't true at all. Maybe he picked the team that he thought was the best team to win the game, and maybe that was his. Maybe it is on him. But it could be the first game of the season, particularly straight after an international break. It could be some of the players wasn't ready to start the game, and maybe that's why they were on the bench. We don't know, but there's a possibility of that. So I'm prepared to give Jonas the benefit of the doubt for this week, but we'll see what the selection is on Friday before we start to then maybe question him a little bit more if similar mistakes are made. I mean, the Russo one's quite interesting because it looked as though it was going to be a straight choice between Alessia Russo and Stina, of course, to start the game. And I think that's going to be the case most of the season, isn't it? It's going to be one or other to start, probably. and then either bring the other one on to play 2 up top, which maybe you could have done on Sunday when we were losing, or as we did on Sunday and as we've done in the previous games, is just swap one for the other, and maybe that's how it will be. But yeah, I was sort of, when I saw the defence, I was very surprised that was the defence that we had, and I'm thinking, I'm not too sure about this. I mean, it wasn't really our defence that was the issue so much. I mean, Liverpool didn't create too many chances. It was a soft goal to concede, and you could blame the defence for that. But it was more at the other end. Even if Liverpool score against us at the Emirates, we should have enough to score 2 or 3 at the other end and win the game. And we had some chances, but we didn't play very well, did we, at all overall? And I do feel as though, although we probably didn't deserve to lose with the possession and the chances that we had compared to Liverpool, you have to say we didn't do enough to win the game, because we didn't create enough big opportunities, really. I mean, yeah, the goalkeeper did play well, made a couple of saves, but yeah, it wasn't a great performance. Gloria says, I was there, although we lost, but it was an awesome atmosphere. It certainly seemed that way, didn't it? And see, my slight issue, and women's football and Arsenal women need to be playing at the Emirates. There's no question about that. The crowd that they can get, so important. But I don't think it gives us an advantage. In fact, I think in the last 2 seasons, we only lost 1 game each at Meadow Park, and we've lost 3 or 4 at the Emirates of the games that we've played. And it's not an advantage to us, although we've got the crowd with us. It's not an advantage in terms of, Meadow Park being a smaller pitch. I think that suits us better. I think the players are more used to playing there. And it's not an advantage to the team on the pitch. It's an advantage to women's football in general. It's an advantage to the club, and it's pushing the club forward. And that's all great. And we love all of that kind of stuff. And it's great that so many people want to come and watch the Arsenal women play. But I don't think it's an advantage on the pitch always. And the results kind of show that, don't they? I don't think we lose that game at Meadow Park. I really don't. I think we would beat them at Meadow Park pretty much every single time. And unfortunately, Emirates, with the bigger pitch, more space, it's sometimes easier for the other team as well, isn't it, to create more chances and cause us more problems as well. And we have to adapt to playing on a big pitch and a smaller pitch, and it's different, isn't it? And I don't know if it really helped us, but that's not an excuse necessarily. I mean, maybe I'm making excuses that we lost. We lost the game because Liverpool came with a game plan that they stuck to. They defended really, really well. They frustrated us, especially in the second half. We didn't get any flow going to our play. They kept giving away little fouls and making it difficult for us to get any rhythm. And we should have been better than we were. We should have rose past that, got through it. We've got the quality players, and we should have done better, and we didn't. So there's no real excuse, but there are maybe some mitigating circumstances as to what happened and why we lost. But we can't. We've got a lot of games at the Emirates in the WSL this season. We can't afford to just lose them all because we've got no chance of winning the league. So it's important that we find a way to be able to translate the results. So we get a Meadow Park generally to the games at the Emirates. We've got to do that, because otherwise we are going to not be successful. Terry said it's good to see a smile back on Andreas's face after the vlog. Yeah, he looked a bit down in the dumps at the vlog, but we all felt like that on Sunday, didn't we? Let's be honest. We all felt down in the dumps after that game, because we wasn't expecting Arsenal to lose, and we wasn't expecting a performance like that. I don't think any of us were. We thought that Arsenal would start the season with a good win and move on from there, and it wasn't how it was. But the only consolation I can take is that Chelsea, I think this season, they won, of course, on Sunday night, but that's the first time they've won their first game for 4 years. Every single one of those 4 years, they've gone on to win the league. So I'm taking some consolation from that. Maybe we've won our first game for the past 4 years and haven't managed to win the league. So maybe losing it might be what we need, as it's done with Chelsea. Who knows? It's early to say, but it didn't fill me with a great deal of optimism after that game. I felt quite flat, quite low, thinking that what is happening here with all these great new signings, some of which were on the bench, as we've mentioned. So none of it made a lot of sense. But I say there may be mitigating circumstances. Terry says, do you think the girls have played too much football? Only saying this as they look tired and wasn't really any flow to our play. Yeah, I mean, I think what's happened is we haven't had a pre-season at all, because World Cup final, we had a lot of players who went deep into the World Cup. Obviously Sweden reached the third place game. England were in the final. A lot of players we had in the semi-final and the final, deep into the tournament, and we haven't had a pre-season. We had to go over to Sweden and play those Champions League qualifiers, then come back from that, and the disappointment of that, and then international break, and they're all going off to play international games. So we haven't had any chance to work on anything in pre-season. We've got new players in, and when have they had a chance to work on stuff? They haven't. We've maybe had 3 or 4 training sessions maximum, and that's it. And that's not enough. And I think that's the reason why the performance was like it was as well, because Liverpool had less players at the World Cup, certainly in the latter stages of the World Cup. They didn't have the Champions League qualifiers. They've had all summer to work together. And you could see that they'd spent, for me, Liverpool had spent weeks preparing for this one game because they've had nothing else to prepare for. We had maybe a few days to prepare for that game. And that was, I think, ultimately that was the difference. And yes, we need to be better, but I do feel as though it was a big ask when we've had no pre-season. Yes, you could say Chelsea are in the same boat as us. They probably had more players later in the World Cup than we did. And their performance on Sunday wasn't great either, to be fair. They didn't play particularly well, but they found a way to win the game. And we didn't. So it's a factor, but we can't just say that's the reason, because other teams still won despite having similar issues than what we've had. So, but yeah, I do think everybody's playing too much football. It's definitely a problem, but they're not going to play less games, are they? Because less games mean less money, and we know they're not going to do that, are they? Hada says there, please, Kadina, Amanda, Palova to start the game against Man U. Well, we look at the changes, but yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone would argue with any of that, really. Terry says there, fancy putting Supergen at the back, our best goal scorer we have, centre forward all the way. I mean, she did kind of go up front towards the end, didn't she, again, as she tends to do. She didn't get on, didn't have a chance to score, did she? If we put a few more crosses in, maybe she might have had some joy. But Terry says there, let's be honest, Liverpool defended really well, but we made them look far better than they are. Well, of course, yeah, they had a game plan on the day, which I thought they carried out really, really well. And you've got to give them credit for that, because I thought in the first half, the way we had the possession and they were defending, I'm thinking they're going to run out of legs in the second half. We should get stronger and we'll start to create some chances and score some goals. But it didn't work like that, did it? Liverpool actually upped their game in the second half even more. They got the goal, which gave them something to cling on to. And then it was really difficult for us. And they did defend well, you've got to say. You've got to give them credit for that. It's not great from our point of view. I mean, obviously in the stadium, Andreas, was there quite a lot of frustration? Because the atmosphere seemed good, even though we were losing. Did there seem a little bit of frustration with how it was going?
No, I think the atmosphere was good, and the whole stadium was behind the team for the whole time. And even after the match, they got their applause and support. It was more the time wasting from Liverpool, what was extreme from the beginning. There were some boos for the time wasting, and in the second half, I think it was so obvious. Every little contact there was, and that she will be lying on the floor now for 2 or 3 minutes, or maybe she's dying on the pitch, and 5 minutes later she was running again. So and Rachel Law started with time wasting after 10 minutes in the first half. So this was a bit this caused a bit boos and the negative atmosphere, but the whole stadium was behind our girls and supported them. And I think the players said this after the match, that they heard the support and the supporters for the whole match. So I think this was really okay, and you can't blame the crowd for the performance. Having 54,000, it's just fantastic. And I think that there were also positive aspects. If you see Lina Hurtig, she's totally different condition compared to last season. When she came in, she made an impact and made a difference. I think she gained some self-confidence at the World Cup, playing for Sweden, scoring this a penalty, decisive penalty for Sweden, and she looks like a different player, like a new signing, and I hope that she can have an impact. And we should trust her and bring her on as sub. And one more point, what I couldn't understand is if you're 1-0 down, then substituting and take a striker off and bring a new striker, and then later a striker off and bring a new. No, risk something. Play with Stina and Alessia, or with Caitlin and Chloe, and don't take off Alessia for Stina. And then in the last 10 minutes, Jen Beattie must go forward to the attack and play as our number 9. Why? We have so good attackers, strikers in our squad now. It's not necessary to bring Jen Beattie as a striker in the last minutes. risk something. Play with 2 or 3 or 4 strikers when you're 1-0 down. If we lose 2-0, 3-0, well, it's 0 points then. But 1-0, we also have 0 points. So risk something, at least 1 point, and maybe the crowd would have come more and more if you see that there is more pressure from the team, more ideas, more. The pressing was not enough, or we didn't press high enough. So Liverpool always had time to regroup in defense and follow their game plan and destroy our build up. We didn't destroy their build up, or we let them too much time because our pressing was not high enough. So a lot of tactical mistakes, I think. But of course, you're right. We are not every day in training. We don't see how they perform in training, how fit every player is. Of course not. But I can only say what I saw in the stadium. And I think nobody was satisfied except the Liverpool supporters. But all Arsenal supporters were gutted and disappointed. And everybody said, of course, we had more ball possession. We had 19 corners and 17 shots, everything. But in the end, it was, you could say it was deserved for Liverpool because they made a great match.
I agree. They did. Yeah, they it was a perfect away performance, wasn't it? They defended well. They had some counter attacks. They could have scored one in the first half, got the goal in the second half, and then defended it for their life. So you've got to give credit to Liverpool, absolutely. But an Arsenal on form would beat that Liverpool side every single time, and an Arsenal not at form, as we wasn't. Anything can happen, as we saw. But I mean, it does seem strange. I know Terry won't agree with us, but it does seem strange while we're having to throw Jem Beattie up front in the last 10 minutes when we've got a striker that we've taken off who would have been just as effective, because Russo can head the ball. She scored a few headed goals in her career. She scored one against us at the Emirates last season, didn't she? So it does seem strange that in that situation where Jem Beattie's having to play up front. Last season, a few times we had no other options. Stina was injured in the Wolfsburg game. She had to go off, and we had no other choice. We threw her up there. She got the goal. And does Jonas think that's now an option to do that rather than keeping Russo on or keeping Stina on and having that option, but rather than using Jem Beattie? I thought that was a bit strange. I was scratching my head a little bit thinking, you've taken attacking players off and you're playing a defender up front. And yes, she scored goals and she's played up there before, and we know that she can be effective, but she's not going to be more likely to get you a goal than one of your strikers, is she? Let's be honest. As great as Jen is and as dangerous as she can be from set pieces and with headers. But a lot of things didn't add up and make sense. But, like we've said, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know how much these players had left in their legs for that game and stuff like that. So it's difficult to know that. But as you said, we can only go off what we've seen, what we saw at the game. And what we saw at the game, a lot of that didn't make sense, did it? The decisions and the substitutions, the tactical kind of aspects of it, none of it really made sense. I think you're right. In the last 10 minutes of a game, get two strikers on, throw everything forward, get that ball in the box, create some difficulties for Liverpool. And we didn't really do that enough, did we? Even at the end when we were really chasing it. But it was a flat performance, and maybe it is the pre-season or lack of pre-season that's affected it. And I say Chelsea have had a few flat performances on the first day of the season before and recovered and bounced back and gone on to great things. So let's hope that we respond in the same way. But that's what it's about now, isn't it? It's about putting this behind us and moving forward to another very big game that's coming around very quickly, So we need to sort that out, don't we? Terry says there, I can't even remember the ball through the middle for Russo to run onto. No, there wasn't. I don't think there was one. The only time I think there was one through ball when Stina came on, and it was just over hit, wasn't it? And the goalie came out and got the ball just ahead of Stina. That was the only time we got the ball in behind Liverpool's defence all game, and that was quite late on when Stina was on. So she didn't get one opportunity, did she, Russo, at all? Hada says, why Alessia Russo to start? Well, it looks like it's going to be between her and Stina. I still believe, I love Alessia Russo. I think she's great, but I still believe Stina's a better all-round player. And if you're going to start one or the other, to me, you start Stina. But Russo's the big signing. So, of course, the likelihood is that she's going to maybe start more games at the start. We'll have to see. But, there's got to be a way we can play them both together as well at times in the game. There's got to be. And I think Sunday would have been an opportunity to do that when you're losing 1-0. Keep all your strikers on, your goal scorers on, and who knows? You know, Alessia Russo in the World Cup got a couple of important late goals, didn't she, for England? So, you know, keep her on and bring Stina on and go for it. But maybe Jonas will learn that as the season progresses. Maybe he'll start to realise actually sometimes you're going to have to front. He's not, maybe doesn't fit what he wants to do, how he wants to play. But sometimes you've got to say, it's not working. Let's try it. Let's go for it. Throw everything at them, and who knows? Get the ball in the box, and it can go in the goal, can't it? Deflection, anything can happen. So yeah, we need to work on that going forward. Definitely. Terry says, why can't we play Russo, Supergen, and Stina up front? I don't think that's going to happen, is it? You can imagine. Well, again, if we're losing 1-0, why not for 10 minutes? Why not do that? And cause havoc to the other team. But I can't see it ever happening, to be honest. I think Jen will only go up front when one of the other two's gone off as a last resort, as it happened on Sunday. But hopefully that won't happen again because Jonas will realise that wasn't the best option in that set of circumstances. Terry says, hit that thumbs up. Yeah, give us a like as well, because it's all good stuff. So yeah, really frustrating day, wasn't it? A frustrating game, and it is one of them games that I believe if we play that game 10 times, we win it 9 times. And unfortunately, the one time was the time that it mattered and we lost. So yeah, very frustrating. But we don't have time, do we, really, to feel sorry for ourselves? The players certainly don't, because two days' time at this time we'll be playing the game on Friday evening at 7:30 against Manchester United, and it couldn't be a more difficult game, could it? After their result of the weekend, when they came from behind to win late on, they did that so many times last season. Although they've had a big tournament, we said it might take them a few games to find their feet. They've started with a big win away at Aston Villa, who we felt were going to do well, and I'm sure they still will do well. And now we're coming straight off the back of this game into a game that, it would be nice if we were playing, no disrespect to them, but maybe Bristol City this week or somebody like that we would feel that we've got a great chance of getting 3 points. This on Friday now, it's become, and it's almost a can't lose game, and not so much must win. I think a win would be fantastic, but we can't lose, can we, on Friday now? Following that, we can't lose our first 2 games, surely, because that's going to be really tough to get back in the title race, isn't it?
Yeah, on Sunday I thought if we lose against United, and everything on Sunday looked as we will lose this, and then the next home match against Villa, we could lose all 3 matches at the start of the season, then the season is over. So there's really a difficult situation now, as Chelsea has won, as United and City have won their matches. Just fortunately, Chelsea and City are playing against each other, so they won't run away with both. Can't run away with 6 points. But if we lose, then we are 6 points behind United and maybe 6 behind Chelsea. So as you said, it's not allowed to lose. If we take 1 point, I think it would be good for the self-confidence. Of course, winning would be would set a mark and show that we are back, and that let's forget the Liverpool match. We are still in the race, and everybody has Arsenal on the sheet. Therefore, winning would be fantastic. But I see really problems coming for Friday, and I think the match is on Friday because United has to play the Champions League qualifiers against Paris Saint-Germain next Tuesday, and therefore the match was changed to Friday. It's not only Sky reasons, but because of the Champions League.
Yeah, I suppose that's played a part. They could have played it on Saturday, I suppose, couldn't they? But anyway, Friday's a game that they pick a game on a Friday night, don't they, sometimes for the TV. So, I don't know whether that's going to help us or not. The fact that we don't have a big gap between the games, it's quite quick. We haven't got a lot of time to lick our wounds from Sunday, and maybe that might be a blessing in disguise. Maybe, I don't know. Terry says Friday's a must-win game for me. It's almost a must win. I would say it's definitely a not lose. That's what the key to that game is. It's a tough game away from home against one of our big challenges. It's a really difficult game. We lost there last season, as we know, Although, of course, the player who always scores the winner against us now doesn't play for them anymore because she plays for us. So that's a slight advantage, but they didn't struggle to score at the weekend. So, yeah, it's a game we can't afford to lose. That's the first thing. Yes, as Andreas rightly said, if we win, it'll be fantastic. And the confidence we could get from that to go forward into the season would be really, really good. So yeah, if we can win, it'll be fantastic. But it's certainly not going to be easy at all, is it? They're still a good side, even though they've had a big turnaround of players. What changes would you make then, Andreas, to the starting lineup? Because obviously, we've already said that we were a bit surprised by some of the lineup against Liverpool. Assuming everybody's fit, that's in the squad. What changes would you make to the team to play Manchester United away?
I would make some changes, but it's difficult. You can't change 8 or 9 players, so it's difficult. But the first change for me is Sabrina in goal. I think Manu is on a down, and she made mistakes for in the internationals for Austria, and on Sunday I think it was in first half when there was a high cross, and she grabbed the ball and then she let the ball away. And if Jen Beattie wouldn't have thrown her body in the shot, then Liverpool would have scored in this situation. And it would have been another Manu mistake. So, and for the goal, I think it was at least bad footwork from her. Of course, you can't blame her alone for the goal because it was weak defending. But on the other side, a world-class goalkeeper saves this ball. And as I said, if the top goalkeeper wins you matches, and therefore she should have saved this one. And I'd say why not giving Sabrina the trust and bring her in and let her show whether she's in a better condition or she can do better now. If it doesn't work and she plays really bad or weak, then you can say after 2 or 3 matches, okay, let's make a change again. But give her a chance. I mean, she's Canada's number 2. She has international experience. When she played for us, she played really good. I remember the City match where she saved us, where she was one big factor that we won this match. So I would, for me, there should be a change on goalkeeper position and Sabrina in goal. In defense, I hope that Noelle is fit again. Then, of course, she will start as right back. Then I thought about the centre back pair. My first thought was Amanda and Leigh Codina, but they have never played together in a competitive match, so it could be difficult to start 2 new centre backs together. So maybe Amanda and Lotta should start, because as much as we all appreciate Jen Beattie's what she did last season, I don't want to see Jen Beattie against Leah Galton, Geise or Melvin Mallard, especially Geise with her speed. No, I don't want to see Lotta and Jen against them. So let's try Amanda and Lotta. And on the left back, it could be Steph or Katie. I think, you can take the one or the other who is better in training during the week. Then I thought in midfield, maybe rest Leah Walty. But on the other hand, we know that the team always struggled when Wally is not playing. So keep Wally on holding midfielder position. And of course, Kim, she was not at her utmost best on Sunday, but still she was okay. But then I would bring in Vicky Pelova instead of Frida for the offensive midfield role. And in the attacking line, it's Caitlin without a doubt. And then, Alessia or Stina, it's 50-50. There's a lot of pressure for Alessia if she starts against United. On the other side, if you change the club and you want to prove something, and maybe she maybe her form will explode and she will score goals because she wants to prove how an important player she is. She was for United and now she can be for Arsenal. But this is 50-50 decision, and on the right wing, I would start Chloe Lacasse, as I think Beth is not fit for starting 90 minutes.
No.
She was not even on the bench on Sunday, so if she's in the squad or on the bench, then you can bring Mido for the last 10-15 minutes, but I would start Chloe. Yeah, so there are a few changes, and I think it's necessary. But the problem is, as I said, you can't change 8 or 9 players and say now it's working. It's not like in chess to change the figures out. A few changes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with most of that. I mean, I would go with the goalkeeper and defence that you've said. I agree. I think Amanda and Lotta would be the best partnership at this moment in time. That's what I would do. I do feel as though Steph Catley's playing well at left back. Maybe keep her in for this game, and obviously Noel, if she's fit at right back, you'd play her at right back because which is the only option that we've got, natural right back. So I suppose if not, Katie McCabe could potentially play there. If Noel's not fit, maybe that's an option, isn't it? So, but yeah, I would look for that back four and goalkeeper. In midfield, I think that away from home against a team like Manchester United, what I would do is I would take Frida out, absolutely, because I don't think she's playing particularly well at the minute. And I would bring Kyra Cooney-Cross in and have her and Leah Walty to protect the defence. Like you said, against the pace that Manchester United have got, with Kim Little maybe push her slightly further forward in the number 10 role, maybe a little bit more. And then obviously Caitlin on the left. I would play Stina from the start of this game. I just feel as though her form at the end of last season was great. She played pretty well in them the Champions League qualifiers. Sorry, it wasn't friendlies, and she did okay when she came on. I would be tempted to, and I do feel you're right. The pressure on Alessia Russo in that game is going to be huge, and to start her might not be the best option, maybe. So I would go with Stina, and obviously on the right, it's either Chloe Lacasse or Vicky Palova, isn't it? I think Vicky Palova has been playing so well. Like you said, when she played for Holland against England, she was one of the best players on the pitch, and it's very tempting to play her. But Chloe Lacasse hasn't done anything wrong for us. She's looked really lively. So that's a choice there that Jonas will have to make. It's one of those two who's going to start in that position for me, and that's what I would go. Just add a little bit more defensive solidity in midfield for me. Take Frida out and put Kyra in, just because I feel as though that for this game, I'm not saying that's going to be something that we'll do more through the season, but I just feel for this game it might be better to have two number 6s, if you like, in there to try to protect the defense a little bit more in a difficult away game. But whether Jonas will do that, I don't know, but that's what I'd be tempted to do just for this one game and see how it works, and then kind of go from there, really. Hada says there, Russo must win the game Friday. Sabrina, she won't say Friday. Yeah, I mean, I think we all agree we need a change in goal. I think we've been saying this for a while anyway, last season, didn't we? That we felt as though Manu, although she can still pull off some good saves, she's not maybe at her best anymore. And we know what her vulnerabilities are. We saw it quite clearly on Sunday again, didn't we? Balls into the box. You just can't deal with them particularly well. Whereas Sabrina's a lot more confident in that area of the game, isn't she? And, she's a great goalkeeper as well. She makes great saves and she played well last season. So, yeah, I would. That's the team that I would pick if I was going to be making it now. So that would be what? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 changes to the starting lineup, which is quite a lot, isn't it? I suppose. But we lost the game, so let's make some changes. We've got a big squad, we've got plenty of options, so let's maybe use them and see if we can find a better blend in the team in this game, which I think we need to. Terry says Cooney-Cross, Kim and Palova. Yeah, you could play Vicky Palova, in that midfield, as Andreas said. That wouldn't be a bad option either. Then you're leaving out Leah Walty and Frida Marnham and changing 2 of your midfield, which we could do that. That's another option as well. I'm not saying that would be bad at all. Terry says, I think D'Angelo should be our number 1 until Mary gets here. Well, yeah, maybe that's what's going to happen. I felt when we bought Sabrina that was what the plan was, that she was going to become the number 1 goalkeeper. And I'm a little bit surprised that Manu Zinsberger still is the number 1 at the moment. I maybe thought that change would have happened for the start of this season, but maybe it still will. We're only 1 game in, really, I suppose. So Terry says there, Fordy and Chloe out wide. Yeah, again, that's a decent sort of the two wide players, aren't they? They've both been playing well. Terry says Stina and Russo up front. Isn't that too many players though? If you've got two up front, two wide, three in midfield, and four defenders, that's too many players, isn't it? I mean, we can maybe try and play with 12. Maybe that might be the way forward. Maybe we'll win then if we play with an extra player. But we'll have to see. And Hannah says Sabrina, she good goalkeeper. Yeah, she's a very good goalkeeper. Yeah, we want her in goal on Friday. We all want her in goal on Friday. But will Jonas make that change, or will he make any changes? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I agree. I don't want to see Jen Beattie and Lotta at the back. I don't want to see that. Sorry, Jen. We love you and everything else, but this game isn't for you and Lotta. Unfortunately, it's not the right game for you to play, and we've got other options in that position now. Better options, I would say, Amanda being the main one, and I would definitely put Amanda straight in the side because I think she's a great player. I really do, and I think she's going to be a really big player for us. So yeah, I think there's going to be some changes. Definitely, let's hope that Jonas makes the right changes. Wayne says there 12 players are Todd Bowley tactics. Yeah, well, it seems to be. I mean, if we can get away with it, why not try? Because I mean, ultimately, the rules of football at the moment don't seem to matter too much. Nobody pays any attention to the rules, do they? So let's just play 12 players and see how we get on. See if the referee bothers to count them, because they don't know what they're doing half the time, do they? So we probably would get away with it actually. But yeah, maybe that's something to think about. But yeah, it gives us an advantage, doesn't it? I suppose. But yeah, there's going to be some change. Let's hope that Jonas makes the right changes, because it is such an important game, and I hope that we can. It's an opportunity, isn't it? The game that's live on the telly. There's going to be a big sellout crowd. It is again another sellout crowd. It's going to be a much watched game, isn't it? And a much anticipation for it as well. And it's an opportunity for Arsenal to say, you know what, the Liverpool game was a one-off, a blip. And now we are going to show exactly what we're about this season. Let's go there and play our game, play our football, and show everybody that we are still to be taken seriously in this title race. That's what I want us to do. But whether or not we've got that sort of performance in us at the moment, I don't know, because the last few games that we've had have not filled me with too much confidence. Terry says, I want to see Stina and Russo play either side of the penalty spot. It's 11 players free. Are you going to go free at the back? Are you? See, I don't think a 3-3-4 formation away at Manchester United is maybe the way to go forward. But then, having said that, though, you did predict up here a 5-2 win. So maybe with your formation, that's likely, isn't it? Because we'll concede goals and we might well score goals because we'll have a lot of attacking players on it. It'll probably end up a 3-3 draw or something, potentially. But anyway. I don't think that's the way to play away at a team like. If you're playing Bristol City, when we play them in a few weeks' time, then maybe throw all the strikers on because they're not probably going to pose us too many threats at the other end. But Manchester United away, with the players that they've got, the quality they've got in their attack as well, I don't think we can be too open. We have to keep it tight and try to utilize our pace out front and play on the counter attack. So, but let's see how it goes. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to the game, not as much as I maybe would have been a week ago, because it's such an important game now. We can't afford to lose. That's the thing, isn't it, really? I mean, I don't know what would happen. I mean, if we were to lose our first two games, that's a lot of ground to make up in, when there's only 22 games in the season anyway, so there'd only be 20 left. And I know that's still a lot of points, but we wouldn't be able to drop too many more, would we? I mean, Chelsea, didn't they only drop? They lost their first game last season, only dropped 5 points in the rest of the season. We'll have to do something similar. Probably even drop less than that, wouldn't we? We've lost our first two.
Yeah, last season, Man City lost their first match against Villa, and then the second one away at Chelsea. Then they regrouped and started a good series, and I think they won every match until they faced us, if I remember correctly. Yeah, look where they ended on 4th place. So if we lose the first 2 matches, it will be very, very difficult, especially as the third one at home against Villa is also a tricky one. You can't say, then we play at home against Villa. This will be 3 points. No, this will be a tricky one too. And if we start with 2 defeats, I don't want to see the self-confidence of the players against Villa then. So it's a really tough task on Friday. yeah, maybe it's better to play away at United and not have another home match. Um, United must, yeah, they must take the initiative and they must attack. We can let um, not let them dominate, but let them start their match, and we can try to come into the match slower and try with counter attacks. And then if we find into the match, then maybe we will be present and we can dominate. But yeah, it's a lot of pressure on our team, especially as United won away at Villa with a late win, with coming back from behind. I think they gained a lot of self confidence, and of course the situation because of the transfer market, Leicester going to Arsenal making the bid for Mary Earp. So this is a lot of rivalry in this match. So it will be really difficult, and I would prefer to play against Bristol or Leicester, not against United on the second day. But we have to take it as it is.
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? In the circumstances, it's not an ideal game to be playing at this time. But the fixtures are what they are, and we've got to deal with it, and we've got to produce a performance on Friday. Now we've lost our last 3 WSL games without scoring. There, if you go back to the end of last season as well, so we need to find something, don't we? Because we can't imagine losing 4 in a row without scoring. That'd be maybe the first time we've ever done that. Perhaps it probably would be. But we'll have to see. Terry says, we outgun Man U, stop worrying. Well, we're worrying because of the performance on Sunday and the fact we're playing a very good side away from home. So we're right to worry, aren't we? But yeah, you're probably right. Terry says, think positive. Sunday was a one-off. Well, I would have agreed it as a one-off if we hadn't got knocked out of the Champions League in the way that we did a few weeks ago. So it's not necessarily just a one-off, is it? It seems to have been the way this season started for us for one reason or another. Wayne says there, I don't want to sound negative while saying this, but I'd have rather played at Meadow Park and won than selling out the Emirates and lose Liverpool. I mean, I don't know if he was in the show at the beginning when I'd kind of mentioned that point that I don't think playing at the Emirates benefits the team in terms of results on the pitch. Most of our home defeats in the last 3 seasons have been at the Emirates. Very rarely do we lose at Meadow Park. You're absolutely right. And I agree. If we'd played Liverpool at Meadow Park, I don't think we lose that game. I think we beat them, quite honestly. I do. But we need to grow the game, and it's important to get the fans in and to watch the women's team to allow it to grow. You can't do that at Meadow Park because you'll get 4,000 in if you're lucky. You can't even get that many in. So it's a catch-22 situation. We need to play at the Emirates for the fans to come in and watch the games for it to grow. But equally, it does mean that we're probably going to find it more difficult to win the home games as easily as we have done at Meadow Park. Due to the whole circumstance of it. But you're right, I totally agree with you. But we can't just keep playing at Meadow Park and the crowds don't grow and women's football won't grow as a result, will it? The fact that Arsenal can get 50,000 at the Emirates is great for women's football. It's great for the club and it's great for the team as a whole. And that's the way to grow it. And we're going to have to find some way of getting better results at the Emirates, aren't we? We're going to have to find a way to do that. And by playing them more, maybe that's what they need. Play them more, get more used to it. Yes. They've already said it feels more like home. Maybe that's what they need, But yeah, I agree. Sometimes our performances at the Emirates haven't been great, have they? There's been 3 or 4 of our worst home performances have been at the Emirates. We very rarely play that badly at Meadow Park, and it's a difficult one, isn't it? But we need to do better there. That's all. Terry says, Andreas, get on your private jet, fly over to Manchester. It'd be one of the best nights of your life. Well, if we win 5-2, it would be a great night, wouldn't it? But Andreas does enough. He's got enough air miles on his air miles thing already. So you have a week off and go back to the Emirates on the following week for the Villa game. But yeah, it is going to be a really tense night. It's going to be a really tough game, and we have to respond. There's no second chances now. We have to respond, and I'm kind of thinking that we will. I'm kind of feeling that we'll put in a really good performance. Whether we can win the game is another thing, because Manchester United are a good side and they don't often lose at home. In fact, last season, I think it was only Chelsea that beat them, wasn't it, at their home ground? So it's a tough place to go. So, we are going to have to play well. I think we will play well. I'm just not sure if it's going to quite be enough. We need a score prediction then, Andreas. I know it's going to be tough to predict the score, but what are you thinking? I know Terry's gone 5-2, which was quite good, but what are you thinking for Friday? I'm sure it's not going to be 5-2.
Yeah. If you asked me that on Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, I'd say we're going to lose 2-0. But yeah, it's a few days since then, and I got a bit of my optimism back, but I don't think we will win there. I see a 2-2 draw. I see a tough match, and our problems in defense. We will concede 2 goals, but hopefully our strikers, our attackers, will find the back of the net too. So I say 2-2. It's at least 1 point, and in the current situation, I'd say I'm satisfied if we take 1 point there, and if it's more, of course, I'll be extremely happy. But to be realistic, I see a 2-2 draw coming.
I mean, a draw wouldn't be the end of the world, I've got to be honest. And I think, given the circumstance at the moment, I would probably take a draw, actually. I would probably take a draw. I mean, I always look on draws and think, looking at the result before the game, think, oh, yeah, I'll take a draw. But you don't know how the game's going to play out. If we play really well, we should win, and then we only draw. We're going to be disappointed that we've drawn. Whereas if we don't play particularly well and we scrape a last-minute goal to get a draw, then we're going to think, oh, the draw's a decent result. But overall, the draw wouldn't be bad. Let's be honest, it wouldn't be, regardless of how the game goes. But I want to be optimistic. I think we have to. Well, we don't have to necessarily win. We can't lose, but it's a massive big game, and if we can win, it's going to put a massive statement. I actually think that the fact that we lost on Sunday is going to focus. We saw last season, didn't we? When we were up against it, when things were going against us, for whatever reason, we always seemed to find a way, didn't we? And we bounced back. And I think that we will bounce back on Friday. I think that the time that's happened between Sunday and the game, I think that the players would have worked a lot on things. I think Jonas would have learned a few things as well. And I think on Sunday we'll see a reaction. And I'm going to be optimistic and predict a win. I think it's going to be tight. I'm not going to be as optimistic as Terry, but I think we're going to sneak it 2-1. And it's going to be a really hard-fought game, and we're going to have to play well. We're going to have to do everything right. We're going to have to defend well. We're going to have to take our chances, and we're going to have to find a way past Mary Earps, of course, who she might let in a couple of goals for us because she wants to join us, doesn't she? So maybe she'll help us out, and she might throw one in her net or something like that to help us out. But I think it'll be a tight game. But yeah, let's hope so. Come on, Mary, do us a favour. You know you want to. So I do. I'm going to go with a 2. I'm not overly confident that we'll win 2-1, but I'm going to predict a 2-1 because I think we're capable of doing it, and I am expecting a response. So I'm going to go with that, and hopefully it will play off. Terry says 5-2, absolute dollar. I have 100% faith in Aguna goals. Well, I did until maybe Sunday, and it's kind of knocked my confidence a little bit in him, I have to say. Terry says Jonas for PM. Well, he certainly wouldn't do bad. He wouldn't do as bad at PM as the current occupant of that particular role. But anyway. But yeah, I'm going to go for an optimistic 2-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw, 1-1 or a 2-2. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose, actually, either, to be perfectly honest. But I'm hoping that, obviously, that we don't. So yeah, we need to see a response to that performance on Sunday, and let's go from there. So let's go. Terry says a win. We're going there to cause a riot. Yeah, let's hope we do. Let's hope we go there and really turn up and produce a performance that we desperately need to do, because we're not going to win otherwise, are we? So yeah, that is what's going to happen on Sunday, on Friday. Sorry, it is going to be good, and we're going to enjoy the game, I'm sure. But it's going to be a very tense 90 minutes or 95 minutes or however long it's going to be. Yeah, we probably won't have any fingernails left by the end of it, I'm sure. But let's hope. I'll say it's early in the season for such a big game, isn't it? But we've created this problem ourselves by losing the first game. So now it puts that pressure on us, but we've brought it on ourselves, haven't we? So they now have to respond to that pressure and react to it and produce a performance that we know they are capable of. We know they're capable. We know we can go to Man United and win if we play well. We know we can do it. We've got the players. can we produce it on the night? That's the only thing we don't know yet. We don't know what the team lineup's going to be yet either, do we? So we're going to be interested in that as well, aren't we, to see what team. Whether Jonas, if you're watching this, Jonas, we've given you some ideas tonight with our team selections. So if you want to listen to some of what we've said and interact that into the team on Friday, fantastic. But we will bow down to superior knowledge of, one, being a manager of a football club, and also, two, knowing the players better than what we do in terms of fitness levels and stuff like that. So we will go with whatever you say. But if you want to listen to us and if we've helped you out with some of your decisions, then that's fine. We'll be happy to take that as well. But if we lose, we're not holding any. It's not our responsibility. We're not responsible for if we lose, even if you've listened to us. We've picked the team, so it's still on you. But if we win, it's down to us for telling you what team to pick. You see, so that's the beauty of being a fan. You see, we get all the glory and none of the aggravation. So yeah, Friday's going to be good. We are looking forward to it. These are the sort of games that you enjoy, aren't they? Because they're the two of the big teams going head to head in the league, and that's what you want to see. And of course, Sunday, Chelsea, as we said, play Manchester City, so it's another big game in the WSL. So it's a big weekend, isn't it? I mean, the first weekend was quite good, wasn't it? I thought there were some good games, mostly away wins, actually, apart from Chelsea. Did you notice that? All the away teams won. Chelsea were the only one who spoiled it, really. But, well, Tottenham spoiled it by failing to win, which is not unusual, is it, let's be honest. But that was quite strange, wasn't it? All away wins.
Yeah, it's strange, but even Chelsea had struggled against Spurs, and Spurs without Bethany. So, to be fair, Chelsea was missing Sam Kerr and Erin Cuthbert, two key players. And what we often said, Chelsea knows how to win when it's really needed. And as far as I saw, they didn't play great, but they kept the 3 points. We didn't play great. We lost the 3 points. That's different. Once again, it's good that Chelsea and Man City meet each other on the weekend. So it would be terrible if they all run away with 6 points. So maybe they can draw. Then they have 4 points, and then best situation, we win at United. We also have 4 points. And then
we'd have 3, wouldn't we? We'd have 3. Man United would have 3. Chelsea and Man City would have 4. So we'd only be a point behind, and that's nothing, is it? So that would be the best set of results this weekend, definitely. And that's what we've got to hope and pray for. But we need to win our game first on Friday, and then we can then. If we lose, then again, I suppose a draw means they both don't. Neither of them run away with us too much. They're still within reach. But yeah, we need to win our game first, and then we can hopefully then enjoy the game on Sunday lunchtime. And I hope that the result goes our way. A draw would be perfect. Yeah, you're right. Especially if we win. But yeah, no, it's been an interesting start to the season, and it's going to be more interesting this week, isn't it? With 2 really big games happening on the same weekend, which I'm sure they planned it that way. To give the season a real boost early on. I'm sure that's what they've done. So fair enough, really. But yeah, we need to just worry about our game and win our game on Friday and go from there. So yeah, it's been and maybe it's not been quite as an upbeat a show as we would have liked, but that's the circumstances that we're in, and we haven't got a lot of turnaround time for the game either. So Terry says, let's be honest, when you play Spurs, it's like playing against 11 Havertz, not much of a challenge. No, that's true. I mean, talking about Havertz, actually, funny enough, just obviously we touched before on Lena Hurtig, and I've seen a lot of similarities between Lena Hurtig and Kai Havertz in stature, in the way that they kind of play, and the fact that Lena Hurtig now looks revitalised gives me hope that maybe Kai Havertz will get to that point with Arsenal at some stage as well. Let's hope so. I mean, it's still early days in the season, but Lena did play well the other day when she came on, and she played pretty well in the Champions League games when she played as well, and she had a good World Cup for Sweden. So let's hope that Lena can push on this season, because I think Jonas has got a lot of faith in her, hasn't he? Even when she was struggling and she was injured, he kept bringing her on, kept putting her on the bench and bringing her into the team. So hopefully that will pay off this season. We'll see. I mean, she'd be a great option if she can come off the bench and have a big impact in games. It's going to be so important this season. So let's hope that she can, because I was certainly optimistic about her performances recently, and let's hope she can carry on. But I'm expecting her not to start on Friday. I think she'll come off the bench again and hopefully have a big impact. So, but yeah, just I can see a little similarities between those two a little bit. Obviously Havertz now with Lena last season, and maybe it will work out for both of them in the end at Arsenal. Let's hope so. But we'll have to see. Terry says, come on, chat, hit that like button. Yeah, give us a like before you go. So that's it then. We have talked about Liverpool. We know what went wrong. We know what changes to make, and we've predicted a better result on Friday. And let's hope that that's the case, and we can start get into the season in and push on and move on from there. Hopefully, with no other TV problems or anything like that, we'll be back on our usual spot next Friday to talk about obviously the Manchester United game and look ahead to that big Aston Villa game at the Emirates, which is going to be another important game as well, isn't it? So we'll be back on that one on Friday. Of course, I'll be here on Friday, not for the women's show, of course, we'll do it now, but for the game. The Manchester United game kicks off at 7:30, so I'll be here about 7:15 with the team news and all that kind of stuff. Get ready for a massive game. So join me for that one if you can. Of course, Sunday is another big one, isn't it? At the Emirates, Arsenal men versus Manchester City. Wow, what a big game that is as well. So it's an exciting weekend, isn't it? Arsenal against Manchester in the women and the men. So let's hope for two big Arsenal wins. Would be great, wouldn't it? Imagine that. What a weekend that would be. So let's hope for that, shall we? But so I'll be here Friday for that game. I'll be here on Sunday for the Arsenal Manchester City game. Lots of great stuff coming. So please give us a like and subscribe as well for what's going to be. It's going to be a big season one way or the other for the men and the women, isn't it? I'm sure there's going to be some big things happening. So you want to be with us for all of that. Thanks to Andreas, of course, for joining us as always, back from his little trip to London, which is good. Have you enjoyed the show?
Yeah, of course. It's always good to talk with other fans or to discuss your own impressions, and this helps. And I was really looking forward for the show to tell my opinion and share this with you with our viewers. It's more fun than only have the impression for yourself. Unfortunately, I can't be in the show next Friday because I'm flying Friday for the Villa match. But I will send some clips with prediction or my ideas to the United match then.
Okay, maybe we've done that before, haven't we? On occasion when you're busy, going, okay, you're going on Friday. Okay, no problem. We can sort it anyway, so that'll be fine. So hopefully Amar might be around, and maybe we'll be able to get Matt back as well because we've not seen him on the show for a while, have we? He's very busy these days.
I met him at the trolley, I said to him, "We're missing you. When are you coming back to the show?" And said, "Oh, I'm so busy, but one day I will be back. I will try."
Let's hope so. You saw him, did you, at the game?
Yeah, I saw him. I was just leaving the trolley, and then he was coming, and of course Harry with three of his children was there at the pub. So Matt hasn't forgotten us, and he's still supporting Arsenal. He's coming to the matches, but as for all of us, we all have our work to do, and unfortunately, Arsenal is only a hobby.
It is, and unfortunately, like you're right, life gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it? Which is never makes it easy. But it's good that he's still around and he's still enjoying the games, and he might well be at the game Friday because it's in his neck of the woods, isn't it? Because obviously he lives up in Liverpool, so he may well be there on Friday. We'll have to see, but no, it'd be great to get Matt back on at some point. I'm sure he will be. I'll say he's just obviously busy with other stuff at the minute, as we all are at times, aren't we? So, but it's good that he was there. Good that he saw him. Of course, Harry loves the Tottenham, so I'm surprised, not surprised he was there because he does love it there. So that was good as well. Terry says, "P.S. Andreas, love the shirt. You've now put Harry on the spot." Indeed, yeah. It is a great shirt, isn't it? We do love that shirt. It's brilliant, and can't believe it sold out as well. So we'll have to wait maybe to get one. I'll try and get one at some point. Because it is it's better than the horrible one that the men have got, the luminous yellowy green one. It's much better than that, isn't it? So that one's definitely not going to get bought, but that one is a very nice top. So that one might well do. So that is that then for tonight. We've exorcised the demons from Sunday, and we're going to make sure we definitely put it behind us on a Friday night, of course, for the big game. So join me for that 7:15. and we will look forward to. It's going to be a big bounce back from Arsenal, isn't it? We're going to win. Come on, we are going to win. We know we are. We're going to do it. So join me for that because it's going to be good. And of course, Sunday, another massive. What a weekend, honestly. I mean, it's going to be stressful. 2 massive games, and we could lose them both, of course. But imagine if we win them both. What a great weekend it will be. And I'm off work next week as well on holiday, so even better. So it could be a good weekend. I haven't been. I'm going to go and watch the second half of the Newcastle game in the Champions League, but I kind of know the score because Paul is watching it downstairs, and I heard her do a big cheer about 10 minutes ago. So I'm assuming Newcastle have scored. I will check it in a minute, but I'm going to go and watch the second half of that with Paul now. So I think Newcastle might be winning in the Champions League, which will be fun. So I'm going to go and watch that now, which will be good. So that'll be good. So join me on Friday. Thank you very much, of course, to Andreas, as always, for giving up his time to come on the show, give his opinions and everything, which is always very, very good. And thank you to all you guys in the chat as well for your comments. Obviously, Terry and everybody else that was in there tonight, Wayne and Hadder, of course. Nice to see you all here. There's a few others as well. Russ was in earlier as well. Gloria as well. He was at the game on Sunday. So thank you to all you guys for joining us. As I say, join us on Friday if you can for the game. And I will see you then. Thanks to Andreas. Thanks to you guys. Terry says there, come on, you Gooner girls, 5-2 get in there. Well, if it's 5-2, Terry, then you deserve a lot of credit for that because I don't think too many people would predict that as a scoreline for that game. But who knows? You've been right before, so maybe we have to have more faith in you. So, yeah, thank you to all you guys. Thanks to Andreas for appearing as always. And I will see you on Friday. Come on, you Gunners. Come on. Let's do it. We have got to do it. Come on. Bounce back, girls. We can do this. See you soon, guys. Take it easy.
Bye.